So if you're finding yourself ready to take on this new identity midlife and you're wanting to start over but you're scared, here are some things you can focus on. One thing that's come up for us a lot as we've been really coming to the choice of selling everything and moving abroad was it was a little easier for me, maybe being an artist and a creative, and I see myself in a lot of different ways with a lot of different creative outlets. For him, he grew up in the Midwest. He has worked a similar line of work his whole adult life. Works really hard. He's blue collar. He's proud of how hard he works. He takes care of his family. He chops wood. He does DIY projects and works in the yard, and very normal life for up here. Somebody who can really take care of all of these things, from heating our house with wood he's cut down to fixing something inside the house. For him, when we've been talking about, at least when we started talking about what it could look like for us to move abroad and me take over working, there's a realistic fear for him of who he is without those things. His woodworking and his creative outlets. What does he have if he doesn't have those things? And I know he's not alone in feeling those fears. And so I wanted to share what's helped him, and hopefully it can help you. We happen to have been born where we were. But there are people who are born in New Orleans, Louisiana, who their creative outlet is they grew up in this musical environment and work looks different. The music inspiration looks different. When they want to have this creative outlet, it might look different than what we were brought up and how to express that. There is somebody in Seoul, South Korea, who is brought up in an academic environment, and they are training and learning and growing and pushing themselves and exploring in those outlets. There's someone growing up in a fishing town off the coast of Scotland or Africa who their outlets look different for how they have fun or what they do to fulfill this creative part of themselves, how their work looks. And I have to believe that just because we were born here and this is all we know, that's not the only thing that would bring us joy. And what a gift it would be to know that we have this. This is the key. We know we have these things. We know we like doing them. How great now in this second chapter of life to get to go explore and just see what other things there are that we also like. And to look at it with a sense of adventure, a sense of curiosity, and explore other outlets, other passions. When we go to Southeast Asia and it couldn't be a more opposite climate, what can we learn and do down there that we've never had the opportunity to even know about? How can we learn about the cultures and the activities and different art styles? Maybe different woodworking. Maybe he studies different architectural styles and different woodworking techniques, if that is still, he finds his passion in that. And so by wrapping up this chapter, it doesn't mean we have to get rid of that part of ourselves. It's like we know we have that foundation, but we're gifting ourselves this freedom to see what else there is on top of that. And at any time, we know we have this to go back to if that's what we love. Because in any place of the world, they need also people who can work with wood and DIY things and do all of that. And so we're not really getting rid of it. If we decide to buy a house in rural, who knows where, we can rebuy all of the things that we had here if that's what we decided to do. And so that has been a really huge pivotal thing in helping to embrace the possibilities instead of feeling like where we are and all that we've known is all that can be. In design, we have this stage called this thing called iterative growth. And it's all about this idea that you can change something and change the version of something, different iterations of it, without destroying the original. And that's what I'd like to think of that we're doing. We still have us. We get to just mold and grow and change and add on to that. And that to me is actually incredibly freeing. So I'm Noelle. We are a little over 5 months away from leaving the US and moving abroad. I've only ever lived in the United States. I've lived in the Midwest here, and I've lived in Texas for a few years, about 25 plus years ago. And it's terrifying, but there's a freedom that can come in knowing that you can trust yourself to figure it out wherever you are. And there's a confidence that builds from that. And that is what I'm really looking forward to, continuing to grow that part of myself, to know that I will always be who I am and my roots can be here, but to continue to grow and add on new skills and information and knowledge only enhances the person that I am. So today we're going to get honest about the fears of starting over. I'm going to share with you 3 questions that you can ask yourself and that I have used to find new goals, how to tackle the fears that keep us stuck, and why you should trust that power follows where you put your energy. Don't simply look at, well, I've never done that before, I won't succeed, or I've lived till 48 and I've never made that happen so far. Don't look at it that way. Instead, you're going to shift your thinking. Have you ever put your full energy behind something and not had it work out or not learned a lesson from it? That's a big shift. There's a trusting that can start to happen to know that when you actually start putting your energy towards it, things shift and they look different. And for instance, I'm facing this as someone who's taking over the money making in the family. I've never been the sole provider for our entire family, other than a few years when I was a single mom 20 plus years ago. And there can be fear with that. And sometimes there is. But there's also this incredible empowering knowing I've never put my full energy into that. I only know making money when I'm also raising kids and balancing 5 million other priorities at the same time. And I kicked ass at those priorities. I was amazing at them. So why wouldn't I be the same when my energy goes towards making money? And that's what I have to keep coming back to. So let's go through the 3 questions. I want you to acknowledge that your current likes may be proximity based. But if you were born in a coastal city, or if you live on the coast now, if you were born in the Midwest or in the desert, how would you express your creativity? Is it okay with you if it looked different? Can you trust that had you been born in one of those places, that you would have indeed figured out a way to meet that same passion that you feel for whatever you currently do? What this does is it starts to separate your core values. Like for me, it's creativity and being productive to a fault. And it starts to kind of break them apart from your current habits. You can trust that your core values can be met with other habits. It's like having those, and then you can shift in other things to help you meet them. So the second thing is you want to define the why. The why is what's going to drive you. For us with traveling and exploring, it is the why is a time thing. I want to do that before our son is on his own. I want to explore and learn about other cultures and find better ways. In America, we're taught that we are the best at everything ever, and you don't even question it. And I just feel like there's more to that story. I want to learn what things we have been learned really, or taught really great things about. And there's many things America is fantastic about, and the people are wonderful. But I know there are many other countries of various sizes who do things way better. I want to go see, and I want to learn, and I want to explore. And I want to mix that with learning and fulfilling this whole part of me of understanding art history and seeing beautiful geography and scenery and get inspired again. That's my why. I want to spend time with my family, and I want to get to honor this other part of myself that isn't in survival mode all of the time. So what does it look like for you? What is your why? This is something you're going to come back to over and over when things are tough. This is what makes you not buy the latte and instead put that money towards your dream. It's that gut feeling of what's driving you. And it may be something like you just don't ever, ever, ever want to feel this feeling again. I feel that very strongly about being broke in my 20s. I don't ever want to feel that gut rot, like feeling where you know there's not enough money to make things work at the end of the month. I've been there too many times in my life, and I don't want to live that again. So that is motivating me to be hyper focused on saving and setting ourselves in the best position possible to prevent any of that feeling from occurring down the road. Number 3, let's get honest about fears. And this is a really big one. So often we are taught, maybe even subconsciously, to not talk about the fears. You don't want to acknowledge them. You don't want to bring them to the surface because then they're going to become super powerful. And I've actually found the opposite is true. When we can start to get really clear about what our fears are, then we can address them. And so you're going to name your fears. You're going to write them down, say them out loud. And sometimes it's judgment from other people. Sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's simply fear of safety. I don't know if I feel safe to do this travel thing or whatever your goal is. And how can we start to overcome that? And I'm going to share a couple videos. I've spent a lot of time making videos about overcoming the fear. So I'll share a few links in the description for that. I'm looking at my notes here because I want to make sure to ask these in the right way, and I'm failing big time. Write down your biggest fear and then ask yourself, is this like a fatal cliff or is it simply a curve that's manageable? And those are two really good distinctions of understanding if it's a curve and you can do some things to prevent it or at least mitigate the damage that can come from it. That's one thing. If it's a cliff, what can you do to shift your plan to make it viable? Number 4, energy flow and trust. So attention is currency. Where you spend your thoughts, your life follows. And we have to trust that. So where you're going to put your energy into making things happen is very important. Stop trying to have it all figured out and trust your resourcefulness. You don't have to know what hobbies you may have in this other place. Simply trust that you will be resourceful and set the intention that when you get there, you will be active about finding them. That's all you can do right now. And that could be the same for even if you are staying where you are, but you're retiring. Don't go in it blind. You don't have to. Set yourself up for success. If you're going to retire and you know suddenly you'll have all of this time, get involved in a couple of groups. So even once or twice a week, you know you're leaving your house and you're anchored to some people that keep you moving forward and keep you from getting in a dark, lonely place. There's so much we can do preventatively to help ourselves in the future. So, and number 5 is the freedom of being able to change your mind, do a U-turn. That is crucial. Knowing that your old life is a safety net and being really clear through all of these questions that it's not an anchor holding you back is going to help you so much. Because if at any point you decide you've tried it, you went for the goal, you went for the dream, and it is not what you wanted, you can rebuild. You know this life that you currently have. You can go back to it. You have to trust that. Trust that if you want to rebuy some of the stuff that you currently have, that you've gotten rid of, that you can do that. I've had to tell myself that over and over, that if we decide, a year, 5 years, 10 years down the road that we want to be back in the U.S., we can come back in the U.S. And so what can we do in the meantime to set ourselves up for the most success if that were to happen is be financially prepared. Take whatever we earn from the house and invest it and let that grow and try not to touch it. We can save as few things as possible, but if we are going to save anything, only save the things that are irreplaceable, which, if we're being honest, are very few. So often, I want you to look around. If you have a hard time letting go of things, look around your house and ask yourself honestly, things that you have this emotional attachment to. If you saw that same thing in an antique store, but it wasn't your family that had it, would you feel the same attachment to it? Now, I know that may be silly because obviously part of the value comes from your family having it, but you can still appreciate that your family had it and not own the thing. You can take a picture of it. You could do a painting of it. You can digitally remember the scene of it in your home. You can talk about it. I had a viewer recently talk about how she is making videos about the things, and I think that was such a beautiful, awesome idea, so that the other generations know about them. You can gift them to someone. You don't have to hold on to the thing. There's so many solutions, and at the end of the day, things are things. And I've seen so many people get owned by their things, and I'd hate for that to happen to you too. Don't let things be the reason you don't go for your dreams. The guilt of things, the stress of them. I happen to have had the energy to meticulously go through every single thing, but there are days, if money was no object, I would have just opened up the house and said sale, donate, whatever it is, because it's exhausting. So looking at things as energy exchanges is really important, even for free things. If you can break the habit of going to constantly shop and bring more and more into your home and find other outlets for your energy, your future self will thank you, or your kids will thank you. Whoever is going to be the one to go through your items will thank you. So just know that you aren't stuck in this version of yourself. Whoever you decided you were going to be when you were 20, or whoever life just kind of wrote the script for, that you've kind of unconsciously continue to step forward into, know that you can rewrite it. You have the power to do that. I have all sorts of resources here that can help you do it. I'm doing it for myself, and my life is good. Life doesn't have to be terrible for you to want to rewrite it. I look at this last chapter of my life. We moved into the woods. We raised our kids out here. We had this amazing life, and I feel very complete with it. And now I'm ready for a new adventure. And I don't have to hate on this other part of my life or think that it was bad or I did something wrong. I don't think that. I think I just feel complete with it. And there's more life to live. And that's enough for me. Other times in my life, things were bad and I had to get out. And that's motivation as well. You get to rewrite it. So use these times as a chapter change where you can redecide who gets to enter this next act with you, what habits come with you, what things come with you. You are in control of it all. You just have to step into that power and claim it. I would love to hear from you if you are working towards a big goal. What is it? Share with us. Let me cheer you on. Ours is huge and life-changing and big, and other times in life there's smaller, quieter goals and dreams, and all are valid. Don't let anyone make you feel smaller just because your dream seems to be a smaller one at this point. They're all important, and they're all little pivots in our path that lead us to where we're going. The most important thing is that you're doing it in a way that honors you. So thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad you're here.